We'll see exactly what they want to go for here. Most likely for Keria. Again, it could still be the Pantheon as the support. I don't think it will be. No, it'll be Keria's Rakan as the final pick of the draft here for T1.
Yeah, pretty good matchup into the Braum. All the extra movement that Rakan does have here for that one. And honestly, the engage
with that Realm Warp, an AL should be able to keep T1 at bay. I don't even think T1 can test here.
Yeah, for sure. With how much pressure Flandre has in the 1v1, the Rek'Sai has a sign under tower already, and you see Flandre proxying even, so T1 looks very good for them, or excuse me, AL looks very good for them to grab the grubs. Will T1 even try and answer anything on the other side of the map?
What I commented earlier, 3 Void Grubs with a side laner that's already winning this hard. This is AL. There's not a kill on the board, and Flandre's forcing down the first turret 14 minutes into the game. Now T1 starting up the second Drake. They want to try to keep stacking here. Keria disengaging as AL's on the approach. T1 grouped up as 4. The Drake is down to 2,000 HP. Faker joins up with everybody. It's a 5v5. They go in immediately as Doran tries to lead the charge with the flash estimating smash, but he's only going to be beat down himself. A lot of damage on the Doran, but he is not down. Keria into the back line. The major engage from T1. Tarzan finds a supreme display of talent to make it a 1-for-1 so far. But T1 have the health bars. Faker rides the Weaver's wall as Keria's about to die into the back line. But Kyle falls. Tarzan falls. T1, they'll lose Keria as Gumayusi fights back, and Shanks is on the run. Faker and Guma looking for a little bit more with a piercing arrow going over the wall, and Faker's ready to flash. Another rock is thrown, and Shanks is buried.
They're gonna grab this one. No Guma around to steal it.
Yeah, it looks like instead T1 going to try and push in mid and collapse onto the spot.
Put a stop to the T1 team fight. And look at this, the river control for T1 is pretty early.
Yeah, for AL, it has to be a way of finding a bypass to Doran. But Flandre going in.
Yeah, Flandre goes in for the flash. He wants to try to find Faker here. Needs a little bit more damage. Ulti to drop the aggro, and Shanks gets the kill. TP coming in from T1, but it might...
We've got Otacon here. T1 pushing on top side, trying to set up around it very early on. Again, the flashes will be critical here.
Oh, Hope goes forward, but immediately Keria's ready to try to respond here with the grand entrance. Hope tries to get over the wall. He sidesteps the seismic shot, but the damage from Owner is way too much. A big mistake from AL, and a bigger punish from T1. Tarzan goes in! Supreme display of talent under 3, but there is no follow-up. Tarzan has to try to flash away. Owner goes after him, but now he's trapped. Shanks with a little bit more damage, kills off the T1 jungler. The Realm Warp's ready to go in, and Shanks wants another. The arrows fly out as Doran charges in. Shanks with a flash to the side to avoid the engage coming out from T1's top laner. Doran's gonna try to run. Another arrow flies out from Gumayusi as now Keria's got to be careful as he battle dances in and out of the fight. Hold on, we've got a respawn from Kyle. He teleports back, and now it looks like AL is gonna take the opportunity to go after the Otacon.
AL have to try and rush this. They know that they've only got a couple of seconds until Owner's back up, and he has that ultimate available. The interrupt is huge because that will stop T1 responding with the dragon.
Exactly. Big interrupt there on Gumayusi, and AL, despite this is sole point if T1 secure it. AL know that this puts them in a very bad spot. Dragon down to 1,000, already going to be secured by Owner. AL continuing over the bot side river. Owner and Gumayusi wanting to step up a little bit here. TP coming in from Doran. He's going to be the one to try to face check. Keria takes some damage from Shanks. Has to use the grand entrance to get himself back away. AL with control over the river, still 4 now. Flandre looking around in the blue buff area, but he won't find anything. Kyle down to half HP already from the T1 poke. That's only going to get scarier if T1 secure this objective. Kyle using the Unbreakable, blocks the piercing arrow. Poke trading back and forth still between both sides. Keep your eyes on the engage, keep your eyes on Keria. Flandre digging into the pit, putting that tunnel down, making sure he has some extra mobility for the upcoming fight as T1 want to step forward. Doran then going to crush the tunnel. Kyle, half HP still, going to use Redemption early here for AL just to make sure the health bars stay topped off. Flandre marked on the side, seismic shove onto the AL top laner. Chain CC on the Flandre, he's already down. T1 have found the pick. Supreme display of talent, tries to hold the line, but into the back line goes Owner. Hope is being chased, Tarzan's being killed. Anyone's legend is being crushed as Shanks tries to fight back in a 1v4, but he'll get nothing but an epitaph as T1 kill 4 and take Soul.
T1 go fishing and they find Flandre. They pick him off and they decimate AL in the team fight.
Hope is trying desperately to hold on,
Faker.
but T1 are chasing.
Faker's riding the wall in. Hope's gonna be the last to die A delayed ace for T1, and the delay makes it even better because now, even when AL respawns, they are not going to have everyone all at once. They will not be full strength. T1 won't just take the soul. They're going to take the whole enemy team. They're going to take the top lane turret. They're going to take Baron, and they're going to take a hell of a hold on this game.
And all of it is because Kerry was doing such a good job of matching Tarzan that Tarzan tried to move, and they sent Flandre into his death as T1 find the pick they need, and the immediate follow-up with Kerry in the bush.
AL trying to set some kind of a trap. They know a fair fight doesn't favor them any longer. Kael gonna be trapped on the wrong side of the Weaver's wall. Seismic shove connects onto Shanks, who immediately goes golden. But it's gonna be a 2-for-1 deal. Supreme display of talent at least takes Kerry out in the process. But T1 have still won the fight. They're gonna keep pushing forward. They've got the Baron, they've got the Soul, they've got the enemy tier 1 turret down. They've got Owner diving into the back line. But the escape is there for the rest of AL. Flandre trying to distract, get something else back over in the mid lane here at the same time, try to get an objective bounty because AL know they are not fighting back in the bottom lane. T1 take the tier 2.
Gumayushi's chains of corruptions locking down Shanks, making sure that neither him or Kael could get out of there. T1, they are in the heads of anyone's legend. Is dark. And T1 continue to push in this top side. AL are attempting to get here, but this tower is gone.
Nothing left of the tier 2 top. Another one falls, and T1's gold lead climbs back over 6,000 as the Baron, still 20 seconds left on this one. Another wave about to come towards the tier 3. And it looks like this is going to be the last wave that T1 get to push with. We'll see if they want to try to make the full break of the base. Here's your Weaver's Wall. T1 going to summon the Redemption immediately just to make sure they can power through this. Realm Warp from Shanks just to make sure he's not caught on the wrong side of the Talia ulti. And that's T1 using every...
And then join at the next cause.
There is some vision in behind T1 though. And maybe that's what AL are looking for. You can see they're pinging that ward that's just over.
AL starting up the Elder Dragon now. T1 watching on, waiting for the rest of the team to approach. Elder Dragon down to about 1/2 HP. Hope taking a chunk of damage. Dora charging in. Weaver's Wall over the top. Kael's going to be caught. A ton of burst onto the support of anyone's legend. And he's already down. T1 charge forward. Double killing Gumayushi. Pressure onto Tarzan. Triple kill Guma. AL are cut to pieces. And T1 holds the sword. Flandre's last to die, and ace for T1 will be the end of game 1.
Great force there from T1. They use their wallets and they destroy AL at the Dragon one more time.
Doran putting the last touches here on the Nexus turrets. The Elder Dragon is claimed, but there's no one left to execute. The game was quiet. The game was close for so very long. But when it came down to the clutch, it's T1 who prove why they are the reigning back-to-back world champions. They out-team fight AL, and they'll take the first game in this best of 5.
Try and go for something like the Ona. You still end up in melee range with a Galio, which is not exactly great, but it's the Anivia.
Faker Anivia as the 5th pick of the draft here for T1.
That sounds painful for Galio. What is Galio gonna do?
You see Tarzan coming down for the Wukong level 3 gank potential here in the bottom lane. Keria goes in with the dredge line. A lot of damage onto Kael. He flashes away. Goyushi flashes after. One more spinning axe is going to do it, but no! Hope denies it. Trying to time this so Owner can be in position right as the wave is ready to crash. They don't want to allow Flandre to try to clear this out. Canamini going to absorb it here with a star. Wind becomes lightning. Flandre with a flash away. Doran going to burn him down, but he needs a little bit more damage with the flame spitter. The turret was so...
6. Eyeing up Faker on the Anivia in this mid-wave.
He's looking for that public execution, and he finds it. Faker gets jumped on. Flandre going in, trying to proc the rebirth, and they get it. They've scrambled the egg, and there's the feat of warfare for anyone.
Cole very early on, so keeping the Sivir in mid and just farming and being content to just trade objectives. All right, my Sivir's just gonna mow down the minions in mid wave and then rotate over the Dragon. You know, we don't want this early confrontation since you've got Xin and Nautilus Draven. And so they will go for the dragon, and they will continue to farm.
Exactly. Remember in game number 1, it was AL securing all 3 grubs, and then T1 securing that first Drake about a minute later. This time around, we swap them around. It's T1 going for the 3 grubs, and AL, and you just saw it right there. Hope's boomerang blade, his ricochet, excuse me, bouncing through the wave to stop Gumayusi's back as Doran goes in from a ton of damage here with a Flandra. The public execution plus the flash to try to get away. Flash Electro Harpoon coming out from Doran, but no! It's Flandra with reinforcement from Shanks for the shield, for the outplay to stop Doran in his
Wait a sec!
Makes it a 1-for-1. Gumayusi from all the way across the map strikes true, and T1 starts the Drake.
It looks so good for AL, but Guma finds the cash in with the ult from the opposite side of the map, and now AL, they need to be careful.
Yeah, AL's got to be careful here. Kyle gonna have a nice keeper's verdict to make the fight unfair. Carry is your first target. His owner wants to go in after Kyle now. Loses half his HP. Boomerang blade takes Carrier down to 150. Faker making his way forward, but T1's not gonna find anybody. They also
Doran's
using
in behind.
the teleport now. Doran coming up behind him. The Rumble's already arrived into the fight as Tarzan tries to find some damage onto Faker. Shanks looking to cut him off. The egg, again the rebirth is triggered as Flandra's made his way into the fight and Gumayusi goes back over the wall. Tarzan kills Faker and T1 is on the run. Carrier Dredgelines back to safety as Shanks dives in beside Kyle. A double kill for Tarzan and the Draven is dead again. Anyone's legend comes to life in Shanghai and they're at a 2,000 gold lead.
But they will need to bring him in if they want to try and make a play in T1. Trying to scope out the area as that goes.
Yeah, Carrier jumps in here with the dredge line, finds Tarzan, but to no avail. Kyle jumps in with the point-blank keeper's verdict. Shanks has arrived. They're looking at Gumayusi and they find the taunt. Guma's already down. T1 are routed as they try to escape from the pit.
Even with Owner's ultimate knocking him back for a second, he still moves in, finds the taunt, and they kill the Draven again. Very
Excellent.
careful about their positioning. Faker himself a little worried about his positioning.
Yeah, he's getting caught out here by Flandra. Public execution, though, not lined up
TPs are
correctly.
coming.
Now Flandra has to flash away. T1 committing to look to find the kill onto the Mbessa. Owner goes after it, needs the third talent strike, and Doran's damage is enough, but off to the side at the same time. Hope is going in. It's another kill traded back as Gumayusi dies once more. Anyone's legend, they want a second, and they'll find it. A double kill to Hope as T1 reinforcements are coming in, but they're a little too slow. Rift Herald summoned up here in the mid lane. Tarzan, Kyle, and Hope gonna knock down the tier 1 turret, and now they're gonna drive it straight into the tier 2. Tarzan at the wheel. He'll slam that one right on in. Equalizer from Doran needs to be used just to clear the wave as Hope knocks down the minion spawning for T1. Faker's gonna take the turret up there in the top lane, and it's AL with more men on the Rift looking at Drake number 3.
Yeah, Hope's got an infinity edge and he wants to use it. He flashes over to follow Guma. He knows. He wins.
Anyone's legend, but nobody's here just yet. Otacon already down to 5,000 HP. Tarzan goes in for the Cyclone. Shanks ready to arrive with a grand entrance. Tarzan's low, and the Whirling Death's gonna find the execution. T1 still fighting back as the Otacon is slain by Owner, but he dies in the middle of the fight. Public execution finds no target. Gumayusi
Definitely rather have the Otacon and the extra experience and stats that you get from that. Afterwards, though, AL will make you pay for it even more. They get the top tower and secondary tower on bottom side. That is a lot of gold.
I was going to say, I think that's third item for Hope now.
The 3,000 individual gold lead for Hope as the 80 carry here with a Sivir. They're moving into the enemy jungle now, and Kyle again just slams Owner into the wall, but now he's in danger. Tarzan and Kyle both so low, it's 2 dead on the AL side, but Hope is still alive. Faker flashes back over the wall, but Shanks is burning. Flandra caught in the middle of everyone. Anyone's legend have overplayed their hand, and T1 is ready to punish. Hope should be next to die, and Guma cashes in. Only Shanks still stands. That could have been the entire game. A dredge line from Carrier, and Owner is ready to follow up. The wind becomes lightning and strikes Shanks down. Ace for nothing, for 1 for nothing. T1.
You cannot not make mistakes against T1 in playoffs. This is a team.
They have the control ward inside the pit. They're going to step back, group up as a clump, as 5 towards the bottom side of the river. AL looking for the approach. Tarzan wants to flank and he flashes over the wall. Now Faker's going to try to get away. Hero's entrance knocks up 3. T1 trying to scramble. The damage comes down and Flandra flashes back over the wall as Owner's first to die. T1 on the run. Kyle wants a wall slam, but he can't quite find it. Hope goes in for Guma and he cuts him down.
To try and bring the game back in their favor. That fight, that flash from Tarzan, the TPs though.
Faker jumping into a spot that he should not be. He doesn't get slammed to the wall, but he's far back enough that he cannot stay alive. Hope runs after Doran. The auto attacks cutting through the rumble. A little bit more is needed, and a little bit more will be found. Carria presents himself on a silver platter, and it's AL eating good.
T1 were worried about the Baron, but they should have been worried about their lives. Teleporting in, AL will take from them.
Baron power play, want to get as much of a lead with it as they can. This is the 6th turret that they will take this game, which means the only targets left are inside the wave away, but the cannon minion is still alive. The tier 3 turret's below half HP. Everybody on AL is feeling confident, and without the equalizer, that's a big team fight tool that T1 no longer has.
Both lanes being pressured by AL. Gumayushi has to step forward to clear out these cannon minions because it's the only way you have a chance, but it opens up for AL to look for plays. Kyle fishing for the Poppy ult, doesn't go for it.
Yeah, it's so hard to push on Anivia always. That's why this Baron buff is so important for AL in their attempts to siege. The Baron buff allowing so much of this extra damage to come through, empowering those cannon minions, empowering both lanes.
All right, top lane about to be the next target. Flandra wants to crash the wave. Still 1/3 of the cooldown left on the equalizer. Tarzan takes a little bit of damage here, but again, it's nothing super serious. Shanks leads the charge. Tier 3 turret drops to a colossal smash from Shanks as AL has found their way into the enemy base. T1 scrambling, regrouping between the top and mid lanes as they do want to continue trying to defend the turret. AL's gonna take their time though. Now they focus on the top lane, tier 3. Flandra's already got the wave. Hope steps up. Second tier 3 turret eliminated as T1 continue to retreat. Anyone's Legend still playing it nice and slow. Inhibitor under siege top side first. Hope plus the cannon minion, more than enough to take that one down. Mid lane's already down. Those 2 inhibitors within fight for this. It's not Soul, it's not worth it. AL with a 6,500 gold lead now find themselves also as the wave clear of an entire team as Anivia. He can take care of those super minions. Everybody else groups up to defend the only remaining tier 3 turret, but over the wall goes Tarzan. Faker's got to try to stay safe into the back line. Public execution onto Faker. Redemption's not there in time. The egg has already been procced, but he will not be reborn. A kill onto Owner follows. AL's already found 2, and they want Gumayushi. Doran and Carria will be next to die as T1 are wiped off of Summoner's Rift. Anyone's Legend with a clean ace to win game 2.
The Panda Warriors are coming alive in game 2 and showing that in Shanghai, this city will belong to them.
Beautiful counter here, looking to lock in one of those melee carries.
I really like this adaptation here if they go towards the Yone. It gives you a really strong matchup in the mid lane that you can look to bully through, and you end up with the
constantly roam up to mid lane as well, and Faker is getting dangerous.
Yeah, Faker walks too close to the brush. The deadly flourish right after the EQ coming in from Tarzan. Faker still on the run. AL thinking about going further. There's your fate sealed. Shanks goes in. First blood over to Hope.
Anyone's Legend
Turns into that, plus the dragon right after.
Yeah, I mean, Faker is the one who wanders into the darkness of River, but Owner's the one who pays the price for it.
Total control over the grub pit. They've brought everyone up here, so Doran's going to get some free firing time on the bottom lane turret. Try to get some plates out of that one. We'll be able to secure the first, maybe even the second down here.
But this is the style of play that Anyone's Legend were so well renowned for, but Hope under pressure now.
Yeah, Carria wants the pull, and he finds it onto Hope, who immediately tries to get away with the bomb right over the top. They take him down. Gumayushi gets the kill. T1 junglers have their Sundered Skies available. Proto Belt also completed for Faker. T1 starting up the Drake, have it down to half HP. Kyle, Tempered Fate, trying to save his jungler. Tarzan survives for now, but T1 is bringing everybody to the show. Doran in the middle of the Cataclysm. The stolen Tempered Fate. Tarzan's already down. Kyle's about to die. T1's found two. Shanks is in the middle of everybody, and he has to try to get away. He wants to charge Q3. He gets over the wall for now. Anyone's Legend has already lost their jungler.
Is immune with the Bard ult. Wait a second, Kyle's getting in there.
Yeah, Kyle on the approach, but no, the smite is there for Owner.
The support there, but mid lane.
Yep, we're right back to live, and it's Gumayusi. Already used the satchel, sidesteps the deadly flourish. Tarzan steps forward, and Hope's got the killing bullet.
Flandra's in behind Guma.
Flandra's coming in here on the flank. Jumps in, but he doesn't find the opportunity here just yet. Tempered Fate, no target. Gumayusi getting away. Caught up here with the deadly flourish. The shots fire out. The curtain is called, and Gumayusi is cold.
For tower pressure and the Rift Herald.
And Anyone's Legend gets the first turret. They've got the 3 grubs. They had the opportunity to force that down to the top lane before Doran can get the first turret down in the bottom lane at the same time. And that means decide where they want to go. They're staying nearby for now as Faker throws out the Tempered Fate to slow down the Drake a little bit. AL secures the Drake. They try to defend the tier 1 over in the mid lane here at the same time. Ulti from the Aurora keeps the structure standing, but Gumayusi has the satchel to complete the trade. Dragon for AL, tier 1 turret for T1.
Yeah, T1, wait a second.
Nice Tempered Fate there, flies out from Kyle, and now they're looking to go in after Carria. The Mega Inferno bomb's not gonna matter. For everybody except for Faker, Tempered Fate, no target connection there, but AL is going all the way in. They want Gumayusi, who already gets away, so they're gonna switch over to Carria now instead. Owner trying to fight back as Shanks is in the middle of everybody. He snaps back. Carria dies first. Immortal Shield Bow keeps Shanks alive as AL are now continuing to retreat. Kyle and Shanks very low. T1 goes forward. Tarzan with a dunk, but he's only gonna steal his own fate. Gumayusi barely holding on, but he burns down. Faker with a kill on Tarzan. Owner chases Hope. The Jhin getting away for now as T1 have lost their bottom lane, but they've killed 3 in response. Faker after Flandra, who has to flash away. Owner flashes to try to catch him with a ball breaker. Flandra needs more distance, but he cannot find it. Abscond.
Instant to burst out Gumayusi, and Shanks tries to follow, but ends up getting caught out. Can't snap back to the soul.
Just going to sacrifice this. This will be soul point, not the actual soul itself.
Exactly, and that missed Yone ult that you're talking about, that's why they forced 1,000 gold's worth of stats. So if you then manage to take that after winning a fight, all of a sudden, things feel largely catapulted the other direction. So T1
very big hook. Maybe get an early summoner spell.
Okay, knocks Tarzan up into the air. Tempered Fate onto Tarzan to try to keep him safe a little bit longer here, and he does manage to buffer through the CC. Now Flandra putting some pain onto the T1 lines, but no! It's Owner going in, they lock up Flandra, they beat him down! Owner's on a killing spree, and that's -1 for AL. T1 find the pick, and then they immediately evacuate.
Didn't need to invest the ultimate, could have just escaped because Kael had bought enough time for the Demacian Standard to be used to escape. But now T1, another tower, more pressure to push AL back as Faker
is coming, but if Faker can't get away, this could be very problematic.
Yeah, flash immediately into the binding, Tempered Fate right after. Faker trying to get away, goes golden to buy himself an extra second. Through the wall they go, Tempered Fate from Faker keeping himself alive as Doran's under the back line. Hope is under pressure, Faker's still alive for now. Hope gonna be cut down. Doran going in and Faker's already cut down first. Hope next to die. It's a 1-for-1. AL's in the middle of everybody as Tarzan has to try to get away, and Carrier's gonna be focused, but he finds a pull over the wall beforehand. Flandra pulled in, but Doran shut down. Gumayusi over the wall with another satchel as Tarzan wants to find a little bit more, but he dies. Gumayusi and Owner working together as Guma dies to Shanks. Owner wants another. Flandra needs to get away, and he hops between worlds. The Owner can't chase him down. Flandra gets back over the wall, and Shanks is ready to flash. Owner will get knocked into the Guardian Angel. Carrie is the only one left alive, and that Guardian Angel will not hear the prayers of...
They scrap their way around, and that is the soul for Anyone's Legend.
Yeah, Owner's still dead for another 5 seconds. Unless you have some sort of a miracle blunder from the side of AL, there's no way. AL, off the back of a pick, will claim the Mountain Soul.
That's a MasterCard priceless moment. On T1 side, and anyone's legend know it. You can see it there. They've been on it for a while, only half HP now.
Yep, but they are not backing off just yet. Kyle fires out the Tempered Fate, but he won't find a target. Keria wanted to pull, but he misses everybody. T1 backs away from the objective now as the Tier 1 turret also dies here in the mid lane.
Force T1 to come to them.
And T1 are ready to answer the challenge. Faker with a teleport ready to join up as immediately the engage comes out from Tarzan. The target is Keria. The Shank Seal finds everybody! Thanks to the back line as Gumayusi tries to get away. He's scattered, but he's knocked down by Tarzan. Faker scrambling as Kyle and Hope chase after him. Doran's going to be the next target, and anyone's legend have forced the world.
Sure, the entire stadium has erupted here in Shanghai.
And the gold lead now back under the command of AL. They've got the Dragon Soul, the Elder spawning in less than 1 minute. The binding into the wall does not connect to Kyle, but now T1 is overextended. Owner's in the middle of everyone. That's your jungler right before Elder, but the TP is a mistake from Flandra. He's shut down already. Owner's Guardian Angel will not save him. It's a 1-for-1.
Yeah, Guardian Angels, though, are up for Tarzan. They are up for Shanks. AL, such an advantage.
T1 trying to approach. Doran's going to be the point man, trying to make his way in there as Gumayusi continues to throw bouncing bombs. Elder Dragon down to 3,000. Fate Seal cuts through, but the stasis is going to lock everybody up. Tarzan's going to be your focus. Mega Inferno Bomb over the top of the Elder is secured by anyone's legend, and they're continuing the fight. Faker is about to be executed as Doran falls too. Anyone's legend is murdering T1. Curtain Call fires out. Most of the bullets won't find their target, but they won't need to. The final shot in Gumayusi is the victory shot for anyone's legend.
And they will head towards that T1 Nexus, taking this game, getting themselves to just 1 game away from what no other LPL team has ever been able to do. They will put T1 to series points here.
All right, the inhibitor falls. It's Owner and Keria versus AL. They have to try to distract. Owner jumps into the middle of everyone, but the Elder Dragon will roar with the might of China as anyone's legend forces T1 to match point and takes game 3.
The second seed from the able to Nico and fights.
All right, we are in an elimination game for T1 at Worlds. They're putting Gumayusi on the controversial Kaisa pick for him. They have a lot of
T1, and they don't know Doran's here.
Yeah, Doran's still there. The Call of the Forge God. The paranoia over the top. Hope tries to get away with the flash, but he's still caught up in the fear. He waits to use the cleanse. Hope locked up by the Ornn, but he gets enough distance. AL staying alive for now. Kyle and Hope both get away. T1 goes in. Gumayusi with a killer instinct, but Hope still lives underneath the turret. Doran's going in with a bellows breath, and it's first blood over to Keria. Kyle tries to counterattack with Zenith Blade, but he does not have what he needs. Doran now the target. Shanks doesn't hit him with a chain. He's got to try to get away as Tarzan wants to kill Doran. Shanks still in the back part of the fight. Tarzan with a 3-man impale. T1 still trying to fight as Faker arrives in. Shanks down to 150.
Tower, but it is so good for T1. It is Guma that does not give up on the play. Even though Hope was able to escape from the Ornn ultimate, Guma says nobody's getting out of this. He ults in, he continues to play for T1, and all of T1 commit to the top side.
And it nets them so much, the extra kills, these kills. And Tarzan tries his best with Shanks to bring back this play. But there's just not.
He just goes up, he gets bonked a little bit, but now Tarzan is looking to change that around. Nice use of the Bellows Breath, but he is pulled back by the claw from Flandra. He tries to get underneath the turret. Doran flashes away. Flandra does secure the kill, but now he's got to get away from the turret. Looks to be saying that they have no interest in contesting this one. Flandra's just staying top. He has no Flandra putting the work in on this turret to take the first one. Nice deny there on the feats of strength.
Yeah, and the fact that you get to
T1 forced back away from the Herald.
Yeah, I like that. You immediately just drop it. Just immediately leash the Herald for T1 because Faker can finish.
Shanks still has a TP, but he's held in mid by by Faker because of the wave clear of the Victor. Faker winning the trade against Shanks as Tarzan trades with Keria and Gumayusi. T1 with control over the Herald as AL approach. Flandra's going to look for a target, potentially here for the Death Realm. Herald down to 4K. Claw hits 2, but Flandra can't get any closer. Owner wants to take the objective. Paranoia's already gone out. Herald secured by Owner as the Ornhorn comes in, but only finds one. Keria locks up Hope. Gumayusi into the back line, and the AL AD carries already down. Owner tries to flash away. Doran in the middle of everybody, but Flandra barely stays alive. He should surely die right after the shield falls, and Owner kills him. Kael's on the run. T1's on the hunt. Everybody on AL's dropping, and T1 are absolutely demolishing the LPL team. Tarzan tries to dig through the wall. He'll barely escape, but it's Rift Herald plus 4 kills to the side of T1.
Even Guma lived! Shanks tried to go back in to kill him, but he couldn't get the vision, he couldn't get the damage! T1 have taken control of this game!
Tarzan wants to see if he can get Faker on the way out. May get the damage down, but AL are so far away. And now with the push on top side, how do you try and enter in towards River? How do you try and spot that Atakan has already been started by T1?
AL charged with a nearly impossible task. They are going to walk forward. They are going to see the Otacon started. They're bringing in the teleport. AL have to send some sort of a Hail Mary play here. Tarzan jumps in, only finds Doran. Keria looking for the Pop Blossom. He only finds it onto Kael. The Ornhorn flies through and Hope is already down. T1 have found their marks, and they want even more. Owner is smashed by Flandra in the Rift Herald pit here at the same time as Faker stays alive, and they cannot quite do it. Finally, they get the shutdown. AL's winning the fight. T1 may have overplayed. They may have overstayed. AL find their way back into the game. Flandra chasing after the lone survivor as the Otacon will be taken by anyone's legend.
AL, they deleted Keria and
Shanks was able to finish off Guma. Like, there is so much damage, even from the beefcakes now on anyone legend, that you need to
Non-stop.
Yeah, certainly has. All right, let's take another look at this though. Top tower is so low. AL trying to use it.
Okay, they go in, the solar flare from Kael. Tarzan wants to swoop around, but the Impale misses. AL threw a lot out there. The Arcane Storm from Faker going to fully push back anyone's legend. Shanks all the way down in the bottom lane, not going to teleport up for this. AL wanted to defend their tier 1, but when they swing and miss, it's easy for T1 to finish the job.
AL ever so slightly.
Watch out for the engage.
Yup, keep your eyes on Keria specifically here with the Nico. Teleport coming in from the AL side. Also T1 ready to reinforce. Ornhorn sounds off. Doran goes in. They're going to knock up Kael here at the very start, but into the back line. T1, Faker under pressure. The burst over the mid laner. They found him, but Hope is also already down. Shanks next to die. The Arcane Storm is a typhoon, but AL is fighting back. More damage to Gumayusi. Flandra wants him. Flandra can't find him. The mace will not connect over the wall. And now Tarzan goes on a killing spree. AL are winning another fight. Doran locked up.
He's going to walk down the mid lane, keep this pressure up in AL. They're looking at a little split.
Yeah, Gumayushi's going to take down the tier 2 turret. Clears this very effectively just as a lone unit, and it looks like they're going to grab it here. The Scryer's trinket used to see what T1 is doing. Shanks goes after Keria, chunks him out, but doesn't chunk him super low. T1 takes the Drake, and now they're ready for the 5v5. Doran summons up the Ornhorn. They're going in after Flandra. They want to focus the Mordekaiser. They've got him locked up in the CC, and Faker strikes him down. AL have lost their strongest player.
Have to defend the Baron. 4 versus 5.
T1 going after the big objective. Tarzan wants to step forward here, try to find a little bit of poke. Kael and Hope now. A nice catch from Doran. Hope is already down. Tarzan has to retreat. Ishtal's impact through the wall. They can't slow him down. They can't lock him up. T1 back onto the Baron yet again. Owner down to 25% HP. AL.
They're going to maybe survive and then find a higher value target. But if T1 continue to focus,
ready to try to stop him, but Gumayusi kills this objective very, very quickly. TP coming in from AL. Keria on the flank, off to the right, ready for the pincer attack. T1 going to pull off the Baron. They do not want to allow it to get low enough for Tarzan to try to steal. Doran jumps in, knocks Kael up into the air. Shanks going in after Keria, wants to stop him. Ornhorn through the middle of the fight, and once again, Flandra's going to get focused, but he is not dead. Big impale from Tarzan. A lot of damage damage comes through. Carrier dies before the Pop Blossom. Flandra in a little bit of trouble now, but he's still fighting. The shield keeps him alive, but T1 is too strong. AL running now. They've lost 2. T1 have only lost their support. It's both supports down. Flandra, the extra man dead, means T1 win the fight.
Yeah, they melt the front line. Shanks is actually creeping around, but there's not much he can get. He's looking for an angle onto Guma.
If he can find Gumayushi, that's the angle. That's the only way to win it, and there he goes! Shanks with the hero play as Hope tries to escape from Doran, but the Bellows breath takes him down. Tarzan wants to get away from Owner, from Faker. He can't quite get there. He's feared up. Shanks nearly kills off Owner, but a beautiful spell shield keeps him alive. Shanks is trapped inside the gravity field, and Faker takes him down. Tarzan on the run. He's the only one left alive from the original fight. Kael has finally respawned. Faker and Doran are going to continue the chase now. If they can get a delayed kill on this jungler, they can almost guarantee themselves either a soul or a Baron, and that's exactly what they're doing. Tarzan will not be allowed to dig through the wall. The Arcane Storm.
The piss.
Exactly. It's free Baron for the side of T1. It's still 10 seconds before Tarzan is back on the Rift, and look at Faker's looking to do. The Mountain Soul belongs to T1. 34 minutes in.
Burst through all this extra durability on these T1 members. It's going to be very
turret. A little bit more damage onto Tarzan, but it's not a lot. They don't need a lot. They just need time to chip away at these tier 3s. Doran with a Bellows Breath to get through the claw. Flandra loses half his HP. The Mordekaiser's going to be your target. Here goes the Ornhorn. They knock Flandra up into the air, but again, nobody under serious threat. Tarzan with an impale onto one, but he's about to die. He flashes away. Guma flashes in. Carry with a 3-man Pop Blossom will seal the fate of anyone's legend. Guma with a triple. Guma with a quadra. Only Flandra stands. Gumayushi finally dies, but AL will die with him. T1 will not go quietly. They will force down the Nexus turrets. They will move to the Nexus, and they will take us to Silver Scrapes.
He does have a history with it. Ooh, Ash plus Seraphine, the goated combo. Ash slows into Seraphine, immediately upgrading into the root, into the stun.
And what a terrifying bot lane that is to try and play against, because if anything lands onto that Jinx, she's going to be locked down immediately. And Ash so might, but it's bot lane that might be in trouble.
Yeah, Gumayushi and Keria having to back away. The zap does not connect on Gumayushi. Tarzan down here in the bottom lane. Guma wants first blood onto Kael. It's going to be secured by Keria. A 1-for-1.
But Drake will sneak away. He's on vision, but able to steal it away. And it'll be a nice little early game for T1.
Yeah, and I think that's the comms there. And T1 know these objectives are ours.
Yeah, the kills are only 1-to-1, but T1 is solidly controlling the side lanes. They are controlling the objectives. That
is actually pretty big for the one-on-one. Owner.
Yeah. Tarzan wants to try to steal away this Drake. Keria and Owner, though, they don't care about that at all. They will smite it down.
Of guys like Tarzan and Kael, who AL played through for so much of this split. Oh, Tarzan though.
Tarzan with the Arctic Assault trying to get back into it now. Shanks could be the one under pressure, wants to fire back into the T1 lines. Owner flashing away, staying alive, but there's the Glacial Prison. Only connects under the tank, but Flandra's arrived into the fight. They fight too! Anyone's legend got exactly what they were looking for. Faker at least gets one back, but he falls as well. For the side of AL, they're saying, fine, take the Herald. That'll get you a turret later. We've already got a turret now alongside Feats of Warfare.
And how far do you want to push as T1?
Now, Doran is still up on the top side of the map, taking down that tier 1 turret, but he's going to go ahead and decide to teleport now to join up with the rest of the team. The Rift Herald is summoned up mid. Flandra separated from the rest of AL, and there's chunks under the AL health bars. T1 staying mostly grouped up. Keep your eyes on Keria over the wall. The arrow collides, but it's only onto Shanks, and he's at a safe distance, so no real value there. Redemption coming in. Seraphine ulti, no value. Owner's going to be in some danger as immediately Tarzan jumps in the middle of everyone and has to try to flash away. Flandra on the flank. Drake owned now by T1. They will force AL back and they will earn themselves soul point.
I feel like you can tell they are on a knife's edge right now. Everybody very antsy with some of these abilities being thrown out. In the end though, T1, they win out. They get the dragon. They're going to get the tower as well. This is going to chop down on the gold lead.
Yeah, and they're basically getting
Slayer plus the Phantom Dancer. The Jinx having a pop-off moment in the team fight is exactly what AL needs if they want to find. They're gonna start up the Otacon. TP ready to arrive from the T1 side. Otacon loses his patience. AL have to be a bit careful. Flandre here on the side, he's gonna find Doran, who finds him, as now the Solar Snare finds Tarzan, and T1 are moving forward. They charm up the enemy jungler. Tarzan's already down, but Doran dies. Hope is excited, but where's the rest of the fight? Keria tries to get away, Gumayushi right beside him. Flandre here on the front line as Owner's gonna be chopped up. The Mundo dies, Hope's on a killing spree. Flandre going forward, but Faker takes him out. Hope, Shanks, and Kael trying to get away. Guma, Keria, and Faker stepping forward. The Otacon, it's impatient, but it's so close to dead. It is stolen away by Faker.
Engage here. Tarzan and Kael wrapping around the outside.
This is massive. If T1 gets it, it's a Hex Soul. 23 minutes into the game. AL knows they cannot afford to give that away. Hope looking for a little bit of poke, only finds Owner. AL with Shanks off to the side, looking to try to get some important burst there with the Syndra. One quick stun on the Doran isn't a whole lot. Faker 3-1-0 on the Mel. Rebuttal timing is also going to be huge in any of these fights. Flandre off to the side is going to be seen there by the ward. Jumps over the wall there with the Umbral Dash. T1 taking a little bit of poke here. Scatter the weak, no target found. Shanks still looking for a little bit more opportunity there. Owner losing about 1,000 HP here so far, but he is the Mundo, has plenty to work with. More zaps fired through. T1, they have the Dragon down to 2/3 HP. AL continuing to step forward. Gumayushi trying to stay very far back. Goes for the arrow. He finds it on Shanks. AL's mid laner is under pressure, but he gets away for now. Doran creating space. Dragon at 40%. Tarzan still nearby, but so is Owner. Dragon losing patience. Flandre's World Ender is about to expire. Doran still here on the front line. Hit with the Q1 of Flandre. Owner at about half HP. Shanks looking for a little bit more. Dragon at 2K. Glacial Prison fired out. But it's claimed the soul for T1, but Owner has already died. AL have got to find more unless they want to lose the game here. Doran takes a ton of burst. Scatter the weak, the damage from the unleashed power. Shanks has another kill, and Tarzan is chasing after Faker. He gets the smite for the slow. They're gonna find another kill, but it's Hex Tech Soul for
T1 getting the Hex Tech Soul. It all comes down to this next couple of fights at the
There's no follow-up from AL after.
Still, I like this from AL. See if they can find those picks. See if they can play off a vision. That's some damage onto Owner.
Yeah, they're going to commit onto the Doctor. Mundo! Shanks has killed him. Owner is dead. You want to talk about clutch moments? There you go. Tarzan and Flandre going forward. Faker's going to be caught. So much damage from AL. Faker about to die. Shanks in a rampage. Anyone's legend. 2 huge kills.
The soul is not enough when the heart of the LPL is with anyone's legend. They will move over towards the Baron as Shanghai erupts.
Doran, Keria, and Gumayushi, 3v5 if nothing else. They need to stop the Baron from going over to AL right now. Shanks on the side, no ulti available for the Syndra here just yet. Tarzan over the wall wants to go in after Keria. Infernal Chains are going to connect. This Seraphine is down. Tarzan is traded, but Doran has died too. It's Gumayushi against anyone's legend as he tries to kite and fight, but he's stunned. Good night, but kill for Shanks. Reset. AL, they send Flandre into the mid lane to answer the wave, clear that one out. The rest of AL remaining by the Drake.
You have to be so careful as AL. One of these spells lands and that Hex Tech Soul slows you. It can give T1 the opportunity to chase you down as Flandre on the reset picked up his GA.
Okay, T1, they're moving into the river. They're taking total control now. Hope wants to grab the red buff, and Flandre needs to get back out and join up with the rest of AL here for the fight. Red buff secured. Elder Drake started, but so slowly. Flandre gonna move forward, try to clear away the control ward. They're going in after the Aatrox. They set him up with the arrow. Flandre has been caught at a critical moment. Over the wall goes Tarzan. Wild Growth coming in from Kael. Guardian Angel will bring Flandre back, but where is the damage on AL's side? Doran into the back line. Kael is already down. Doran killed in response. T1 pushing forward. Shanks the next kill. Hope trying to kite. He needs to get away because T1 have won the fight 2-1.
Flandre is trying to reset and teleport back in. He's trying to link up with the team. The minions are here. They need to turn it. That's the teleport.
Okay, T1, they've got to understand this Aatrox is probably their target. Flandre arrives. Solar Snare looking to lock him up. Owner taking a ton of damage. Hope is excited. Flandre's got the kill. Solar Snare on Hope, but it's not going to do any more. Flandre's going to try to get away. Goes back in here for the Q1. Tarzan wants to engage on Gumayushi, but he cannot find him. Flandre over the wall. Wants Faker. Can't get the damage. Hope can't do it either. Gumayushi's still alive. T1 out out team fight anyone's legend.
It's Kyle that is up, but can they stand against so many members of
In their
T1?
possession, you would have to think that T1 is going to take a stroll up into the top side of the rift and add Baron to it.
This now becomes a game of delay.
The Elder, the Baron, the Soul, the Otacon, every possible advantage you could have.
Will assault the base. Here comes the push. Baron empowered, Elder empowered. T1 are on the warpath.
T1 just going straight to the enemy base. Tier 3 turret doesn't stand a chance. Inhibitor knocked down right after. Tarzan and Hope, meaning
Right now, the hope for AL.
well, it's gonna need a lot more than just some hopes, some dreams, some prayers. They're gonna need this Elder timer to expire if they want to have a chance against T1, who now have nearly a 3,000 gold lead on top of all those buffs. Elder getting down very low, about 20 seconds or so left here on this buff. The next wave about to arrive, and you know T1 are gonna force their way in for a second lane of super minions. Doran guiding the top lane minions up now as well as the second inhibitor falls, and T1 are looking for the end of the game. The Elder's got 15 seconds left on it. T1 guiding the Baroned up minions toward the Nexus turrets. Solar Snare not hitting a target. Flandra and the rest of AL scrambling to try to defend. Nexus turret's down to about half HP. Owner takes some burst. Tarzan takes more. T1 looking for the engage. They found Flandra, but he gets away. Half HP on the front line of AL. T1 pushing forward. They've made their way on the Nexus. AL scrambles to defend. Doran can't do it. History is written by the victors. And yet again, T1 turns the page of the LPL. They will once again earn their place.